Okay, let's see. Let's wait maybe for a couple of minutes over here. So you're also on LinkedIn. And then I'll start sharing the screen. And we'll get there. Okay. Let me try to open it at LinkedIn too. So I hope I'll see the comments there as well. Just in case. And just in 1 minute, I think we will start. Tristan. Okay. I think I see now. We're here on the PC and we're gonna start. I'll share my screen. And I'll go risky today and I'll share all my screen. Okay, so welcome everyone. I'm very happy that there is such an interest here about the topic, about the project and product management in general. And today we're going to have this webinar hopefully a little bit more interactively as well. We'll see how it is possible with the setup. And first of all, very quickly, let me introduce myself. So my name is Yuliia. I've been in the business for over 13 years already. It's hard to believe, but it's true. And I've been involved in very different activities, very different leadership roles, not only product management. And I've also worked for different setups, like, from startups, big corporates, and even state institutions. I would say that was the most extreme experience one can get in the area. I'm also a coach, and I've been very active lately in the topics of agile and remote work. What else? Also doing some volunteering, and maybe something interesting is that I like playing drums, and I really hope to go surfing some months soon. And now I would like to invite you for a very quick Menti session. So yeah, let's see how it goes with the setup. If not, we will make that part shorter. But I would love you to join this QR code over here, and I will start the survey. And I will stop sharing my screen maybe for a sec, maybe not. Let's see. So if the QR code doesn't work, you can go directly to Menticom and to fill in the code over there. Why I'm doing that is because I would like to see what kind of audience you're having today and how we can adjust it. So let's see. What are we having here? Okay, we have a couple of votes. I'll wait a little bit more. Okay. So actually we do have We do have some votes about enough to consider a switch. And we have some people with experience. Okay. That's important to know. Because that's gonna adjust the topics a little bit. Okay, I'll move on to the next question about your skill set. Also for me to know where, we spend more time and where less. So those are, I would say, the skill sets that I consider the most relevant for the product management job. And as you see for different, okay, so we're having more or less a balanced setup over here, looks like. Yeah, so we have this market of interest. It's very important, and we'll get a bit longer at that point because the activities you're gonna do are very, very different, depending on the market. Then there is some general theoretical knowledge of product management. There is, of course, a lot about leadership and management. So if you had any kind of experience in this area before, even if it's leading some student organization, that's extremely useful. And the analytical skills as well, right? Because we need to work with the data. Okay, as I see, more or less balanced. Thank you for that. And if it's convenient for you, maybe a couple of words about your expectations from the session. Yeah, what would you like to get? That's, I would say, one of the last big changes to influence the presentation itself. We'll have, of course, the time for the questions, and I'm picking on LinkedIn. And somehow it wants to kick me out all the time. But I'm very stubborn in getting back. Oh, thanks for the code, Paula. Practical advice. Okay, that's expected. Okay, there is also a question from Eliza or Elisa. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, about specific products and industries. IT, financial products, web, and data lately. A lot about data. Okay. PM job hunt approaches, that's gonna be here for sure. Opportunities, how to apply a specific industry or not. Okay, good. Stand out. About stand out, maybe something we can say for the questions too. That I didn't think that actively about yet. Let's see. Clarity, work on that. AI-based PM, yeah, nowadays it's hard to do it otherwise. Okay, good. Thank you. Happy to see that we are more or less aligned. But if not, I would like to remind you about the QA session. And again, I'll try picking up on the LinkedIn. How we will structure this webinar? We'll have mostly 3 topics. The first one is going to be about the entry points to the job market and application in particular. And then we'll have 2 parts about the hard skills and soft skills. When I was preparing for that session, and we were chatting with Paula as well about what can be, most useful for the audience, we decided that, maybe just this genuine advice of what I would give if any friend of mine started the career, and that's basically how this presentation was shaped. And I tried not to be too theoretical, because the theoretical stuff you can easily find these days. And of course, at the end, there are going to be the time for questions, but as I mentioned, I'm going to beep. So you can also share them. And if I miss anything, just maybe type it again. Good. So maybe just for a second, can you think, how do you imagine a typical product manager working day? Yeah, but like what is around, what kind of tasks are there on the desk or rather on the laptop? What kind of people they're talking to? And as you're visualizing it, there are two aspects I would like to draw your attention to. So the first aspect is, in general, yeah, the product management is extremely different depending on the context, what kind of product, what kind of company. I worked with the companies where product managers were people that were completely empowered about what they were doing, people that had pressure to deliver and to do the market analysis and to react to the user interactions. I also worked with the corporate product managers that sometimes had pretty limited responsibilities and capabilities, but they had to get involved on the regular basis with businesses, yeah, like because they were involved into B2B, the businesses their company was serving, and there was a totally different kind of collaboration. And those are just two examples. And the second aspect I wanted to draw your attention to is, as there is such a great variety, yeah, of product management roles, it gives you opportunities to find the place that suits your wishes and your skill sets the best. Yeah, so maybe the way you are now imagining this days of work can also influence then your criteria for the job search for the companies that are the most interesting for you. Yeah, just keep that in mind, that it's such a variety. And now we are getting already to the first part, which is the identifying the easiest entry points to the job market. So you, some of you at least, already started with some job experience. Some of you are probably just starting, but still what I find is that each of you is gonna have some experiences, some skill set, and some interests that would identify the easiest entry points for you. And a lot of people, if you ask them, oh, what can be the best point, they can tell you just follow your dream, yeah, and this kind of stuff. But as product managers are usually also pretty analytical people, their reaction is it a joke? Yeah, I thought there has to be some kind of research and work. Yes, that's the correct answer. That of course, rather a joke about following your dream, with a piece of truth as everywhere in the joke. So what can this analysis be, in my opinion, where I would start from? First, I would really think about the markets that you have most experience or interest in. The next point, we will get into it a little bit deeper. The second point would be, how can your current job or other experience or background or education actually help? Because very often, for example, if you're a car enthusiast, yeah, you're really into the automotive field. You never worked in it, but you're interested. You're following the news. You are up to date about all the trends, and so on and so forth. This is already your advantage. Then, for example, when a friend of mine was switching and he had a huge experience in medical research, that was the best starting point for him because biotech is one of the most rapidly developed markets, right? And for him, applying for generic IT product management vacancies didn't bring any value, but as soon as he applied for biotech companies opportunities, he got really good offers, and he got even like more promoted positions that he could hope for, right? Because he had the experience, and he also had the experience of leading people. Maybe if you're a student, you were organizing some events or communities. That's also the experience, that's the leadership experience in particular, and it's very important to get this together. And you were already asking, by the way, about this AI powered PM. Um, Nowadays, what you can do, you can also make a list of everything that you think you are good at or you have the knowledge about, and search for the relevant positions and then feed it into some LLM tool, ChatGPT or Perplexity, whatever, or maybe ChatGPT would be better here, Claude, and ask, okay, what can be the directions for me? Yeah, and then you can try it out more in detail. Another aspect I would look into is the network. How your network can be helpful. What, like, who can you talk to? Maybe you have people who are already working at the companies where you saw interesting positions. Maybe you have friends who are into the topic. Just talk to them, ask around about the opportunities, ask maybe they can connect you to other people, because very often your connection is also helping you out, especially when, in my experience, when I was looking for junior specialists, with time, it was always about my network because it's easier for me to hire a person I know I can rely on. Yeah, I've studied with or I worked with, and I know they can gain the knowledge, the hard skills, maybe even soft skills that they're lacking, but they're reliable. They have the potential, right? So getting into your network is really important. Then I would also ask the question, what kind of company, organization is the most interesting and maybe also easier for you to get into? Startups, corporates, state institutions, smaller companies, bigger companies, um, location of the company too, right? All these aspects, they're also important, and they can give you a hint, right? Where should you focus on? What kind of positions should you apply for more more actively? Okay, just checking if there is anything about the questions. Okay. I'll update to them. Networking is key. Okay. Good. Let's move on. I promised you to give a little bit more information about the markets. So, of course, I asked LLMs about what are the most widespread markets to enter when it comes to product management. And that was the answer. And when you're looking at that markets, I would first like you to think, okay, what is the market that's the easiest to enter? Yeah, as a starter, as a beginner. And maybe you would now think of some digital products, right? Because if you're a user of that product, you already have some kind of market knowledge. Yeah, it's not like getting into a product for doctors, right? Or even something industrial, industry targeted, yeah, or some manufacturing tool. The second part is, of course, what is the market that's the easiest for you to enter? And here we can get back to that example with the with my friend. Yeah. Well, if you already worked in this area and you want to start as a product manager, I would really recommend starting with that area, right? Um, you'll be able to get the skills that are specific to the position at this position, and if you're even tired from that market, you'll then switch. But as a starting point, I would choose something where you can already bring the value to the organization, and when this value can be really appreciated. Yeah, because it's going to be this win-win situation that we're always looking for a new job. Okay, so we got into this first steps, and now I would like to move to the second part, which is boosting your application skills and opportunities. As everyone knows, it's one thing to be good at something, and it's a totally different thing to be good at applying, getting interviewed, and so on and so forth. So that's why I decided maybe you already, maybe it's not going to be super new for you, but at least a kind reminder, yeah? Especially if you don't have the rich experience yet, for you to boost in your uh, application skills is even more important. So first, I would like you to think about how can you learn from your application and interviews experience. What I mean, when you're applying for the vacancies, um, save them. Yeah, maybe save um, the job descriptions, count the number applications you make, maybe classifies them, put down what was good, what was not good into your opinion, the feedback. Yeah, if you're lucky and you get the feedback after the interviews, just put it down so you can really learn from that data, and think about it in advance. Yeah, because first, it will really bring results when you're doing it this way, and second of all, it will also bring you more confidence, because you'll see that you are on the path. Yeah, you have maybe even some of KPIs of yours that you'll be able to follow up. The second thing, even when I was applying for something after having experience, even the friends of mine who have much more experience than me, we still ask for feedback. Sorry, I'm about to get sick, I think. So if I lose my voice now, I will just sip more water. Yeah, so get some feedback. Maybe actually it can also help you to get some job opportunities, because you can text someone you worked with, yeah, and then you're asking them for a feedback, and then they say, actually, a great colleague I worked with. maybe we have something now at our company, right? So use that. If you don't have anyone in mind, again, ChatGPT, but don't forget to fill in all the context, right? So the job descriptions, the what you want to achieve. When it comes to the interview and feedback, by the way, you can also just do it with a text, with a voice to text recordings. Yeah, and you'll get, you can even like emulate the interview with it. Should be also very helpful. But of course, the best way is to rehearse it with someone you know. It will also give you more confidence, because you know how our brain likes um, when there is something known. Yeah, so when you go to the interview and it's your first time and everything is new, the environment, the people, the questions, you feel much less confident than when you have it rehearsed with someone, when you've heard some questions, when you're prepared, not only by reading or something, but by actively doing it. It will also give a totally different impression to the interviewers, and you're gonna act much more confident and most probably also more effectively, of course, because you've thought it through. um, yeah, so before, again, kind reminder, before you're applying, prepare for each job opportunity separately. Update your CV. There should be the relevant keywords. There should be the experiences highlighted specifically for this opportunity. And now with LLM tools, it becomes much faster. You can create some ChatGPTs where you feed maybe a couple of written cover letters in your style, yeah, and then you tune it up so it's doing it at the same style as yours, and using only the data that you are feeding it, yeah, so it doesn't get creative as it can be. And then of course you still improve it, you edit it, but it will speed you up. And it's extremely important that it is targeted, yeah, because if it's super generic, you just won't get through this first filtering stage of recruitment. Sad but true, especially when you're a beginner. But yeah, fortunately nowadays it's easier. And a kind reminder about the meetups, conferences, job fairs. Yeah, if you want to get into some gang, you should be around the truth as it is. Just watch what is going on nearby, get new connections, ask around. I also witnessed, not even once, when people got job opportunities after just talking to some people at stands. Yeah, so conference stands, I mean. So don't forget about it and be active there. And another reload of LinkedIn to check if there is somehow. Okay, now I see it's updated. And the third thing about the application, remember to be flexible about your path. Yeah, so maybe now you think that, okay, that's my best opportunity. I should go into, I don't know, banking applications, because I've done banking jobs for a while. But then you can notice that, okay, it doesn't go very well. What else can I try out? And then you can see maybe you get more invitations to the interviews after applying to something that you didn't expect. Yeah, so just keep experimenting. Remember that every failure is a learning here. It has to be a learning, yeah, if you really want to succeed. And think, okay, after this experiences, after what I got to, how can I use my skills and motivation at best? Yeah, like what is this current situation? And by the way, when you're doing it with such an analytical approach, when you're tracking everything, it can also be a nice use case of data analysis, which is sometimes one of the key skills when it comes to applying to jobs as a product manager. So, okay, we're getting to a hardcore part, how to train the hard skills. So again, I didn't use here ChatGPT or something to structure this. I really tried talking from my experience, and I personally like working for startups much more. I think that this is, or small companies, or just small companies too. Because I think that this is the opportunity to learn the fastest way. Yeah, you have smaller teams, you have much broader responsibilities. Yeah, because in a corporate, very often you're super narrow, and it's logical, it makes sense, but it kind of narrows down also where you develop yourself. I remember my first jobs, I was doing almost everything there: HR, marketing, product management, project management. Yeah, and first I thought, oh my God, I'm not doing anything well. I'm not getting any expertise at anything. Yeah, it's super broad. But then with time, I really realized how much how different the speed was. I was learning stuff, yeah, and I was really getting this high level helicopter view, and that helped. So yeah, I'm a fan of startups and smaller companies, and if that resonates to you, then maybe you should also try it out. So in terms of the hard skills, I would really recommend to start about agile product management. That's, yeah, now maybe the most into trend, and the lean startup methodology as well. Um, yeah, it's like, this basics at the market. Agile is about the flexible approaches to management. In particular, when it comes to lean, it's also totally like pretty holistic methodology about how to move on with your product in a lean way. And you can consider the certifications. Some of them you can even get online, like with Scrum.org. You basically have all the materials, you can get prepared, and then you just take a test. Pretty cool. If you have the opportunity to take several days certification in a group, even better, because you're going to have the exchange. You learn from the experience of people, and most probably someone would come who already worked as a product owner or product manager, and you'll be able, to really get some specific stories from them, and that, yeah, it makes the knowledge stick better. There are also lots of online courses at Coursera and services alike. You can do anything there, from lean, agile, analytics as well. If you have not done anything in analytics, I would highly recommend, because data-driven decision making is also become like now it's a basics, it's a standard requirement. It's not like before, which is I think is a good development. And yeah, just search for something that is convenient for you to learn, that is interesting for you. And even if you don't decide to get a certificate, usually at Coursera you can pay for it anytime. Yeah, but if you go through some free course, it usually doesn't matter. It's the knowledge that you're getting. So I highly recommend you these topics. AI skills too. Um, Rapid prototyping with AI. Um, I think 2 years ago it was the first time I learned about rapid prototyping that was completed from scratch until the end just by a product manager. Yeah, because it was all code based, and before he had to collaborate with designers, with team, just to see, if something is feasible technically. And 2 years ago, already 2 years ago, I did it completely with ChatGPT. He coded, of course, he had the environments ramped up and everything. Apparently, for some areas, it's important now. But yeah, it's really important to get into it. There are also courses about it, and it's very market specific. So it depends on what market of interest is relevant for you at the moment. There are also lots of product development related tools, like even AI integrated into analytics, for example. So again, I would here maybe start from something more general, getting into the standards of your market of interest, and then see, okay, what do people are writing about on LinkedIn, what kind of experiences they're sharing, what are the trends, and just try it out, and then maybe take some course if you think that there is a need. And of course, the general use of LLM tools. Before you make any kind of market research, you run some kind of deep research with Perplexity or some other tools, and you need to know what tasks it can help you with, right? So you need to try it out, you need to see how it works. You probably also, if you have not started yet getting into LM tools that much, start with your daily routine tasks, just to see that you are following the trends. Yeah, you know how to validate, for example, the outcome, where to trust it, where you have to question it, what kind of tasks is which tool is handling better, and so on and so forth. So this is also becoming kind of a standard request. Yeah, and small hint, you can take, I don't know, 9, 10 vacancies that you think are really interesting, you would like to get that job, and then you can ask Perplexity, for example, or yeah, here if you just give a link, give the text of the vacancies, also ChatGPT, and you can ask it to give you a summary. So that was, for example, a very broad one. I asked Perplexity about the most popular requirements for a PM at startups, small companies in the US and Europe. Maybe you can specify it to the market, yeah, like in automotive companies like ABC, yeah, at this and this location. And then you also get the general information here, and then you can see what kind of learning opportunities are there. Yeah, so please use these tools. When it comes to corporates and state institutions, they are often expecting also a little bit different skill sets. They very often write about agile, but I wouldn't say that it really became a standard like agile as it is. It's very different at the corporates, and usually they ask for a safe. That's the agile framework that I would say something in between the traditional and the yeah, agile methodologies. If you're, of course, applying for a job at some Amazon or Google, it's gonna be like a startup, but big. Yeah, but high, I mean, not big, I mean, higher expectations. But when it comes to more conservative corporates, that's the reality of the market. And they will want you, so when you apply for a startup or a smaller company, they might be much more flexible about certifications, if you have anything or not. But when it comes to the corporates, they're becoming more strict about it. Yeah, so if you, for example, have a relevant classic education, a bachelor's of engineering or something, and you're applying for a product manager at some relevant company, it's going to be definitely a huge plus for you. While if you're doing it for some startup, it can be like not really playing the role. Yeah, so take it into consideration. And now we're moving to a softer part of our. Somehow it jumps all the time when I want to see if you had any questions. Yeah, this animals are apparently pretty good. Okay, how to. Okay, there are some questions. Let me then maybe make an intro, a couple of slides, and I'll get to them. Yeah, as you see, these two animals are getting along very well. So product management is a lot about getting along with people. You want it or not, yeah, there's still there are at least some topics there. Of course, everyone would say to you that, hey, with hard skills, it's much easier when you need to learn alone. But the soft skills you have to practice. And here again, the kind reminder, if you have any opportunities to lead any kind of initiatives, to co-organize some events, activities, it's also, it belongs to this practice, and we'll also get to some books and materials here that can bring you more awareness, yeah, about this practice. But in general, that's of course the most important here. Yeah, so what are the soft skills PM related topics that came to my mind right away? So first, it's of course the communication, just general communication skills, the emotional intelligence. There are going to be some books on that. Later on, nonviolent communication, if you have not read on it, if you're not using it actively in your life, you know, with your friends, partners, then that is also a very good practice that you could do. Conflict resolutions as well. So everything belongs into this very basic communication. It's gonna be also a lot about leadership and situational leadership. It's gonna be a lot about negotiations and diplomacy, and this part, by the way, I think is the easiest to boost with some Coursera course, because there are really some strategies that you can adopt. Stakeholder management, of course, it includes the topics beforehand, but there are also some different approaches to stakeholder management depending on what kind of company you're working for and depending on your context. So I would read on that topic separately as well. You'll definitely get the questions about that when it comes to job interviews. And here would be nice to have some examples from your life that are similar. Yeah, because again, um, if you're organizing a sports community, you are also doing stakeholder management. Your sport peers are stakeholders that are having their interest. Maybe some organizers of sports events, they're also your stakeholders. Yeah, so try to find the experience that is similar somehow to the product manager's challenges, and then you'll see it will be easier for you to present it at both at the job interview, but also when you're actually at the job. Yeah, and you have to do it. Change management, by the way, I have a lot of materials on it in my on my blog, so you can also read on. I tried to make it fun too. So, okay, I think, yeah. The last hint on this slide is about the prioritizing the junior positions or positions with the support of experienced leaders. So if you have not really had the leadership experience yet, then that's what I would recommend you. Yeah, so try to get some job where you have someone to rely on for some time to learn from. I've seen a lot of people who jumped to the leadership roles right away, mostly from the technical roles, and who were very dissatisfied with their experience because they didn't boost their soft skills. They were confident that they're awesome, and then when they realized that, hey, it's not about being awesome, it's also just about learning some stuff and experiencing some stuff, they were not satisfied, and I think some of them could make really good leaders if they worked on it. But yeah, because of such experience, they mostly switched back to the engineering jobs. Okay, I'll get, we're I don't have that many slides yet, but I would like to get to some questions. How to network more? That's a great question. And I'll be honest with you, it's very hard for me to answer what is the best opportunity for you to network, right? Because it depends on what country are you in, what kind of events you have nearby. Most of the strong connections that I had in my life were the like my friends and my colleagues. Yeah, the people who really knew how I worked, how I am, when when we're doing some stuff together, how it is to work with me, and then there were these opportunities. On the other hand, I would say that maybe at the corporate, at bigger companies, there are eventually more opportunities to network. But you can also network at some conferences. Yeah, and with no pressure, just getting somewhere, not being afraid when you are coming to some coffee point, start talking to people, ask them genuine questions about the work they're doing, what they like, what they don't like. And when it feels natural to you, get stronger connections with people that are in the area that is the most interesting for you. Prioritize your time as well. So maybe it's also about choosing with whom to spend more time. Yeah, if there are people who are very successful at what they're doing and it resonates with you, try to spend more time with that people, try to bond and to connect more with them. Um, and some cool stuff like volunteering communities, for example. I think that over the last years, the brightest, the most talented people I've met them when we were doing some volunteering stuff together, because that was something that was motivating us all, and you could really see this genuine motivation and aspiration, and that's where the cool people, according to my observations, are getting together. Maybe some sports too. Like, for example, I think everyone knows that golf clubs and this business communities in the Great Britain, for example, are getting close together. In Ukraine, it was a lot about playing tennis. Somehow you meet a lot of interesting people and you play tennis and you get connection. So think about it, ask around, also like switch on this research alarm about the network opportunities for you, yeah, in your context. And then I'm pretty sure that you'll see something, but what I wouldn't do, I wouldn't let it go too organic. Bring awareness, think about your connections, see, okay, maybe when I work on this initiative with that people, I get deeper connections and I can also deliver more in this world, and I feel happier. So don't go with the stream here. I hope I somehow answered your question. If not, then please text something. I will move on meanwhile. That's actually the last slide already with the I think I missed some questions. Okay, I'll go through that slide and I will try to reload LinkedIn. It again chose the most relevant questions, I think. So I was very abstract before about the materials. Some Coursera courses, some certifications. I sat for a while and I thought, okay, what were the books that really changed, that I benefited the most from? That's it. That brought the most value to me in the context of product management. So first, I would like you to read this too. They are not easy, these books, by the way. The Inspired and Empowered, and I would start with Inspired for sure. Maybe then take a break of several months and move to Empowered. By Marty Kagan, and the second one is with Chris Jones. So those are the textbooks for the product management, and they are a must. When it comes to communication, below you see this red cover with How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. If you haven't read it yet, do it. That's the book that will help you not only with getting a better job. Most probably, yeah, maybe you've read some other stuff, but still, I highly recommend it. It's about general communication, about understanding people. And if you've read it, maybe you can also put some comments here on LinkedIn so other people can see what you think of it. Another book is Thinking Fast and Slow. That's, again, another... For me, it took about 1 year. You read some part, you take a break, you process it, and then you move on. But that book really changed the way I perceive stuff. In product management, it is very important that when you prioritize some features, you prioritize them not because you believe in them or you think someone will like it, but when you do have reliable data that proves you that these features would bring the value. And there are dozens, maybe even hundreds of cognitive biases that we people have because we are people, that's normal, and they are mostly saving our lives, these cognitive biases, and saving the sanity as well, I think. But when it comes to product management, it's very important to be aware of those and to be, again, data driven and to make the right decisions. And this book is about the mindset, about the way of thinking. It will also help. It's Daniel Kahneman is actually the economist as well, so you'll also learn a little bit more specific examples about the customer behavior in particular. Yeah, so this is also about maybe some experiential learning there as well. Emotional Intelligence by Goldman. I don't think I will surprise you with this book. Lean Startup by Eric Rice, still, so it's a classic book. If you're, and I would say you would benefit from it also when you are targeting some corporates. It's in general a very nice book about how to make cool products by using the list of resources. All the stakeholders like hearing that, right? Doing something using list of resources. Continuous Discovery Habits by Teresa Torres, like product discovery, based a lot, by the way, on some learnings from Thinking Fast and Slow. She has like recipes, what to do, A, B, C. For beginners, perfect. And the last one, No Rules, Rules, about Netflix and the culture of reinvention at Netflix. Also the general stuff just for the understanding of what the company culture is. Because as a product manager, you'll work a lot with the people, with the teams, and you are one of the people who are shaping this culture and who has to deal with the challenges there. So it's also important for you to get there. Okay, so get into the questions. Okay, so yeah, happy that you appreciate my response. How to find AMP role as software engineer switching roles. Yeah, so if you're a software engineer, I would definitely target for the product management roles in software engineering. Yeah, anything. Maybe choose the market that you already have experience in. Get more like I would concentrate on the soft skills. Yeah, because most probably with the hard skills you're not that far away because you experienced it somehow. Yeah, and I I don't see anything more specific. Maybe you can also specify your question. Like yeah, because in general, same stuff I just told I would repeat. Yeah, in Bangalore actually there is a huge IT community and a lot of international companies as well. So I'm pretty sure it's a great place for networking. Yeah, I can share this deck. I think I can even share it probably here on LinkedIn. Remote job. How to network. So whether you get a remote job or on-site job, I would say network would be still the same. Unfortunately, I don't think that I wish Daniel Carnegie could also write a book on how to make friends remotely, which is definitely possible if you're working together on something with other people. Yeah, it remotely also works. But for example, the remote conferences are not that good for networking, right? Maybe some smaller meetups, also nice remotely. Um, yeah, if you're, but I would tell you something about another country. Because I worked a lot at international and not only international, also like local companies. Learn about the culture of the like of the country you would like to find work at, uh, because when you get interviewed, if you know you don't know this basic stuff about the cultural differences, it can be very difficult, and it can end not very well. For example, you know that in the US, people are, again, let me take even the biggest contrast. So when the Dutch people, who are extremely direct, yeah, and if they don't like something, they are often just telling that they don't like something. If they talk in such a way without any adjustments to British people who have, their polite phrases and polite ways how to communicate stuff, then of course it doesn't work, and you could already feel it at the interview. So learn about the culture, the communication peculiarities of the country that you're searching the job for, or if you're not interested in it, just look for the job at the international company, smaller company, some startup, and then most probably it's gonna be the easiest way for you. Okay, I'm reloading the page again. I don't think it gets reloaded, to be honest. I think I have some data for the product owner of this LinkedIn tool. Let me try. So the last, yeah, but on the other hand, I think 3 minutes ago. Maybe that's the last thing I see. Oh no, that wasn't the last thing. Oh no, that was. Now it gets switched, not depending on the timeline. Do you have a story from a non-financial product you managed? I have a lot of stories. What kind of story are you looking for? Um, I worked with, mostly I worked with data products for manufacturers, for supply intelligence. Worked with just web products, web applications like this one too. I mean, didn't work on this one, but similar ones. Maybe you can specify what kind of story you're looking for. So otherwise, I'll maybe come up with something. Thank you for answering. I think the challenge is what to focus on in the CV as a SE to get entry level PM. I have the answer to this question. So look at the job description that you have. So it's super boring, people. When you apply, you have a list. Try to be as close to this list as possible. Yeah, and that's not only about the screening, it's also about when you get to the interview. Literally think about every point, make some self-evaluation. Okay, what can I do well? What similar experiences I had? Uh, Being self-critical is also fine. Yes, okay, this I'm not super experienced by, but I have ABC. But literally going like point by point at the vacancy. And then you'll see what to focus on. And if you see that, okay, when I look through the 30 vacancy profiles, yeah, and I see that um, the vacancies in this area, I look weaker when I go point by point. But the vacancies from that area, I'm like really good. I feel more confident. Then you, of course, should focus on application for them. It's also about your time. Um, and I'm pretty sure that you'll get there. And as soon as you see that, okay, there is a pattern, I lack some stuff, just try to get at least the theoretical knowledge. If not, find people who've done it. Yeah, and maybe they can coach you. Paula is asking about the skills that are more important than the other. Yes, for sure. At any job, there are going to be some skills that are more important than the other, but it depends on the job. Yeah, so at some product management positions, for example, I didn't do any I didn't do any analytics myself. I was using, the analytics that was worked out by other departments. I was collaborating with them, and of course, I was trying to get some user interviews and everything. But in general, there was minimum touch, but there was a lot about the change management at that company because that was their um, weakness at the point, and I had to deal with it. Then at another company, it was mostly about looking through the data, about shaping the experiments, about the user interviews, whether they are supporting the experience or not. So that does depend on the context and awareness of it, and looking for, okay, what is the most important at this job and where I can bring most of the values, I think is the key of success when you're looking for a job here. What would you recommend prioritizing when it comes to hard skills if you're just switching to a PM role? Mm, uh, Depends on the product, again. But yeah, market research for sure. You need to be able to complete the market research. Um, Working with the data, yeah, data analytics in particular. Um, for example, for software products, rapid prototyping can be important. And the general approach, yeah, like what Eric Rice is writing at his book Lean Startup. I hope I answered your question here. Okay, I think that I've covered. If I didn't cover something by the end of the webinar, feel free to just text me or maybe mention me here. I will reload. I'll try to reload. Okay. Tell a rapid prototype and story. Okay. What the product was, what you did with it, and what that web product did. Are you sure you're interested in all the details? And the rapid prototype and story. Okay. With the rapid prototyping, I can tell you a very fresh story. So it was an aggregator of private property. So it's basically a platform and you can see the private property that is being sold or that you can just rent out. And the test was about the air quality. And the idea was to aggregate the air quality indicators, specifically for the locations of that private properties, yeah, that houses basically, and then to get some average stuff. So what was done with the ChatGPT, there was a simple scraper written that was getting, so of course at a low, as it's a prototype and at a low scale, just several locations over there. And this script was gathering the data. And then there was an average calculated with the logics defined. So that was a small feature prototype. Yeah, and basically, I hope I also, as a result, I also answered about another product. Yeah. The current product we are working on is pretty complicated to explain. We are now basically getting all the public data on some market. Yeah, so for example, like EV battery market. And then we produce the structured data that are showing who's selling to whom, where what products are manufactured, what technologies are used, and so on and so forth. And yeah, this it's a bit complicated to talk about the experiments here because I would need to give you more context, but I really hope that I more or less managed to answer your questions. Last time I am now, so I'll give you maybe some seconds now to ask a specifying question or maybe a new one. And then you know that just the end of this webinar and 5 minute cycling is separating me from Brazilian barbecue. So I have a very big motivation to answer your questions at the highest quality. Okay, question from Brad. How do you think AI will impact the role of product managers, and what recommendations do you have for augmenting skills? Yeah, I already integrated it into the presentation, and I tried to talk about it. I think that with the help of AI, we'll be able to develop products much faster than before. And yeah, that means also like more challenging competition as well. Yeah, everything is pretty logical. Yeah, you have the opportunities to create products from scratch much faster than before. So you have more products like that at the market. And of course, some products, vice versa, the competition will suffer because the big companies with big facilities like Google or Amazon, they have super cool servers to use, right? So they have totally different capacities. So some products will be impacted in a negative way, but in general, I think that we'll have much more competition. And I think that if you want to be a really cool product manager that is in demand on that market when AI is getting there, boost your AI skills. Learn how to code with AI. Yeah, AI opened the doors to also code. And I think it's important for a product manager. I see, I myself started using it for market research, for example, although I'm now not like the product management is not my focus now at the moment at Elf Affinity. but still, I'm doing the market research with LLMs. In particular, I automate some stuff. I write the scripts to get the notifications when something happens. I automate my routine. And this, I think, is this is going to be the basic skill, right? Because if you automate your tasks, you are much more effective at your job. Rapid prototyping, again, depending, of course, at your area. I am not aware of all the products. Yeah, I have just a limited human normal experience of the products that I mentioned in particular today, but there are recently I've met a product owner who's working on materials, plastic materials. He has a PhD in this area. He's like a scientist basically, who then became a product owner. And his work is completely different from the work of a product manager of some bank application, right? So, and honestly, I doubt that his work is gonna be significant. Yeah, it's still gonna be significantly impacted because he'll be able to track, for example, the new researches uh, more carefully, and he'll probably be able to challenge his ideas with the LLMs. Yeah, but I think he needs much less skills than, for example, when you are experimenting with the new features for private property aggregators. I hope I answered your question. If I find something now, it's gonna be the last one. And if not, you can mention me later. Yeah, I think that's it. So, yeah. That's a self-reflection question for dessert. You can text your answer or you can just take it away. Yeah, what was something that, a piece of information, or maybe some thought? Yeah, it's not always the data that you're getting away. Sometimes it's just your idea, your thought that you came up with when being here. So, what are you taking away from the webinar? And that's the last point for us today. I'm very happy to be a part of this webinar. I'm happy to have your awesome questions here on the chat. And I'm wishing you not only good luck, I wish you to find the job you will love and the job where you will bring as much impact as you can, and that you really enjoy it. Yeah, thank you. Have a great day or evening or night. Bye.